Hey y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. Today is the first official brunch with Necey. Now, y'all, it's not even 11 yet, and I actually have to go to a brunch after this. That's why I got my little highlighter on. So this is actually my sparkling water with just a blip. It's actually more than just a blip of some cranberry juice. So I hope that y'all are joining me this morning, whether you're drinking your mimosas, whether you're drinking some coffee, or you still laying in the bed with a bonnet on. I hope you wrapped your hair last night. Today, we're going to do a master reality roundup of 3 shows that happened over the weekend. Number 1, and this is in no particular order, but these are the shows that we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about Love After Lockup. We are going to talk about Put a Ring on It. And then we're going to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is the one where I was kind of like, damn, Love and Marriage Huntsville pretty much deserves its own video. But I also feel like Put a Ring on It and Love After Lockup don't deserve a joint video together. So I'm like, let me go ahead and do this weekend roundup. So shout out to y'all who are already in the chat because we are starting on time today. I told y'all I got somewhere to go. I'm going to brunch. Me and my roommate, y'all, these are like my best friends. One of them lives in DC. 2 of them live here, but we just get so busy with like work and life and everything that the 4 of us have not been able to meet up. So they're all here in town. We're gonna go to brunch. We're gonna get some good mimosas and stuff like that. So that's why I'm saving the drinks for them. But I'm still gonna toast up with y'all. And then, I'm gonna have like a cute little adult sleepover. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Let me go ahead and say what's up to the chat. Okay, Julia, hey girl. She was first one here. Thank you for being an amazing mod. Alicia Garcia, she was on ready. What's up, girl? Dominique B, Shantia Gregory. Shantia, how was your birthday in New Orleans? I was wondering if I was gonna see you. Coco Bean, hey girl. And then Quinn Winston, what's up? Here with water. Shantia is having a Mary Jane morning. I don't blame you. Easy like Sunday morning, like SpongeBob likes to say. But y'all, let's go ahead and get into the video. Give me a hot second so I can pull up these graphics. All right. I think, y'all know, Love After Lockup was real slow, but what I think we should do, we should probably just sandwich it. And before we get started, for any of my mods, will you please do me a favor and timestamp this video as we go through the live? Once the live ends, I'll pin your comment. So that way, anybody who's watching the playback can easily find what they're looking for. So let's go ahead and get into Put a Ring on It. How y'all feeling about my thumbnail? Y'all, I thought this thumbnail was too cute. Trust your gut. Everything that Alexia was saying in this episode was pretty much anything that I've been wanting to say to her on my lives. And honestly, y'all, I was sitting here really thinking like, Alexia cannot be this dumb. But 14 years tells me otherwise. But once you hear her talking to Dr. Nicole this episode, I'm like, girl, you're saying everything you need to hear. I will get into Alexia in a minute because I believe there's a method to the madness. There's a reason why she's doing this ish. Although I disagree with it, I definitely see why she's doing it. So let's go ahead and start off with the easy couple. Let's start off with Eric and Jessica. So this episode starts out, Eric is jealous because Jessica decides to go on another date with Clarence. Now, y'all, Clarence is a cute dude, but it's something about him to me that just, he looks like a male stripper. And to me, I'm not really attracted to that type of look. I mean, but it's not for me to decide. But I just had to say, y'all, when I first watched the first date with her and Clarence, I was like, oh yeah, he's absolutely her type. He got the F-boy braids to the back. He got the nice fade. He's built. He looked real good as a male bodybuilder. But then once I seen him with the nose ring and then how like perfectly etched his body was, I was like, he looked like a male stripper. So this episode, Clarence and Jessica go on their second date. They go on a workout date. And I felt like they got along pretty well. There was even a point in the date where, they both had some physical attraction. But what I like about Clarence is that he isn't so outwardly physical. He compliments Jessica, but he definitely has more deep conversation than that last boy, Randon. Y'all remember Randon, the old boy that was sounding like Bubba Gump? Yeah, he definitely seemed to be a lot more mature than that dude. So I was like, I'm not really mad at Clarence. He compliments, her body, and they get real flirtatious. She goes, oh, okay, go ahead and take your shirt off. And when he takes his shirt off, I was like, okay, you looking good, Clarence. Couldn't make too much of a face. I was watching the TV with my fiance, but I was like, damn, Clarence, you looking good. Okay. Anyway, it was looking good. And she sees a tattoo and she says, who's Dana? And then he gets into the story of that's his ex-wife. He got married when he was 23 years old. He said there was definitely, absolutely some infidelity in the relationship. He cheated. He said it in a cute way. But yeah, he was young. He got married to her. At the time, he was a different person than he is now. That's completely understandable. But he says that he's learned a lot now and that he wouldn't change anything at all. One thing, y'all, he told us he was a pro bodybuilder. I think there is money in pro bodybuilding if you're like up there. But for the most part, I really don't know. And part of me wonders if that's why Jessica strayed away from Clarence. Like, Clarence physically had everything she wanted, but he probably don't have the same bag that Eric has. And I feel like there's definitely a brick wall that Jessica and Eric get into, because if you think about the way that their relationship started, Eric was in the NFL. Jessica was just, one of his situationships because, he had them women like that when he was in the NFL. So definitely Jessica saw the benefit of being with him because he had money. It might have turned into something a little bit more, but that still doesn't change who Jessica is or what her dating preference is. So I don't know if it's because Clarence don't have enough money or what, but I really didn't see anything wrong with their date. So in return of her asking about his ex-wife, he starts asking questions about Eric. He says, well, why wouldn't he put a ring on it? You're smart, you're intelligent, you're beautiful, all these super nice things. And she says to him, well, I'm ready. He's not. We've had conversations about it before, but he's still not ready. But she gets a little bothered that he ends up asking questions about Eric. And she says in the confessional, you just need to worry about this date. And Jessica, I hope you were joking, sis, because y'all were on a date. You were asking questions about his dating history just as he should ask questions about yours. Now, let's not spend the whole date talking about Eric, but he definitely wants to know, why bring your ass on this show? Like, what's really wrong? Is it something wrong with you or is it something wrong with him? I think that it was a valid question. I do think that that's a spot of insecurity for Jessica. I think that she wants all her years to pay off. And I feel like that's the common theme with a lot of women in general and women on these shows. But the thing is, I feel like you have to be careful where you dedicate your time. Of course, you want the years to pay off. But the thing is, if it's that hard to get to that point, or if there's so many red flags and you're ignoring it just to get to the ring, it's like, what's even the point? It's no point at all. So that definitely is me reflecting on Alexia at the same time as Jessica. So let's move on to the next couple. We'll move on to LaRhonda and Sean. So LaRhonda and Sean both had dates this week. LaRhonda went on a date with Sir James, and Sean went on a date with Brittany. I think they're both really nice looking people. I'm talking about Sir James and Brittany. Sir James is handsome. He came to the house looking taller than Sean last episode, and I didn't get y'all with a video last week because I was in New Orleans. But if you haven't, go check out that vlog. Anyway, back to the show. Yeah, Sir James is handsome. Seems like they had a pretty nice date. And LaRhonda, I really don't understand, y'all. I feel like she's holding back from liking Sir James because, similar to Jessica, I feel like she had a pretty nice date as well. The man is handsome. There definitely was one red flag for me, though. He said that the only relationship he had been in, the girl ended up cheating on him, and this was 4 years ago. And whenever he said it, he said she wanted to be trifling. So I was like, I wonder if Sir James is still a little bit scorned from his last relationship. And I wonder if he'll have some of the same insecurities that Sean has. So I think more than anything, you want to be careful, LaRhonda, that you're not leaving one situation and getting into the same damn thing. Because don't nobody have time for an insecure ass man. And whenever she talks to Sir James about what the struggles are in her relationship with Sean, she ends up saying, you know, that he's overbearing, overprotective, if that's what y'all want to call it. And Sir James is like, yeah, you know, that's not cool, because then you end up, you know, parenting the other person that you're in a relationship with. Boom. Boom, Sir James. I like you, because I want to say from like the second episode, I feel like LaRhonda definitely parents Sean. He told us about his childhood trauma. Even when it was down to them on the couch, now I'm talking a couple episodes, they were sitting on the couch talking to Dr. Nicole, and she called him like a baby and kissed him on the forehead. And just like she went on that first date, he had a tantrum. I think the dynamic of LaRhonda and Sean's relationship is very much parent-based, and I think that you're going to get tired of it. LaRhonda like, girl, it's too much. Even in the car conversation, if y'all go back to the very first episode, LaRhonda tells Sean, I have a daddy. You don't need to do this. So it's like, y'all keep, it's not cute. It's not cute. Like LaRhonda said, it's very draining. And I don't think it's going to change unless Sean does some personal counseling. LaRhonda, I think you should also do some counseling to find out why you feel like you have to baby Sean. But really, I feel like Sean needs a lot of work. As he acknowledged in the first episode, he claimed that the work that he needed was to be more stable financially, but he definitely got to do a lot of soul searching too before y'all decide to put a ring on it. So I'm going to vote no. I'm going to vote at the end of this that you don't put a ring on it. I don't know what you will do, but I'm going to vote saying that you don't. So yeah, Sean goes on the date with Brittany. Sean was killing me last episode because I watched 2 episodes. I watched the old one and this one. And he was like, yeah, you know, Brittany look good. I love it when a girl wears heels and she looking at me in the eye, you know, that shit's sexy. I'm like, Sean, you ain't that far up off the ground. Like, most women are going to be looking at you in the eye with heels on, but okay. Yeah, as long as you like it, because you really ain't got no choice. But Brittany's in the studio. She's a singer, and her voice is okay. She doesn't sound bad, but she's singing a song to Sean, and I really didn't even hear the lyrics, but she said that it had something to do with their situation. They both really like each other, and Sean is feeling like at this point he's playing with fire. He's afraid that he's going to like her so much that he's going to get in trouble in his current relationship. So that's why he's somewhat kind of backing off of her. We will recap all the couples once I get to the meetup, but let's go ahead and move on to everybody's favorite couple. Field Mob. Field Mob. You know, Alexia and Darian, I think they're the only people that think he's famous. Let me take a sip. They're the only people that think he's famous. So y'all, this week, Darian agrees to go on a third date with Kai. Y'all see Kai thick ass in the second box. And Alexia doesn't go on another date because they're going to go through some counseling with Dr. Nicole. That's one thing that I really, really enjoy. I was hoping that y'all did a lot more counseling in the first season. But it's good to see that y'all are doing it in the second season because these people need it. They need some individual counseling too. So Darian and Alexia are at home and they're having discussions on how do you think our relationship could be better? What do you think? And he says, well, I think we need a better sex life. And I was kind of just like, sir, y'all have been together for 14 years. Y'all are discussing whether or not, well, not y'all. Alexia is discussing whether or not y'all should be married. And your point of frustration is sex. Girl, run, okay? She's a runner. She's a track star. Run, okay? Y'all are not on the same page. He's not thinking as deep as you. And if sex was his first answer, I'm like, okay, whatever. So they start arguing. We find out that every time they get into an argument, Alexia says that Darian runs down to the condo. Oh my gosh, girl. Ain't you seen enough TV shows and soap operas and reality TV shows to know that don't no man need a condo? I don't care if he's painting. I don't care if he's a music artist. You buy a house big enough, you get a basement and you put it down underneath. That's where he can record. What does this man need a studio for? He is no good. So she starts talking about him running to the studio. Of course, he flips it back on her and he goes, well, you got dudes underneath your pictures. And if y'all want me to imitate Darian better, it's a little bit like, you got dudes underneath your pictures, not really opening up your eyes. And she's like, well, so what? You know, he supports me. He stands by me. And I'm just like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all really doing this tit for tat, trying to make the other person think that you're doing something where you're really not. And I feel like all this is wasted effort, Alexia. That's why I'm so frustrated. I hope y'all follow me on Twitter, because I was definitely live tweeting while I watched this. And I literally just said, Alexia, we want so much more for you. I want so much more for you. I can go ahead and speak for myself. But this ain't where it's at. So anyway, Darian and Kai go on a date, and it just be killing me how every time they walk into a place, they really try to look like real power couple-esque. So I think even though Kai acted like she didn't know Darian's music, I think she is kind of getting a kick out of knowing that this dude is from Field Mob. And she's really, gotten the competitive spirit, almost to the point to where she's almost a little bit unlikable the way that she's been placed on the show. Thank y'all. My allergies are acting up. I don't want to keep sniffing. Anyway, I feel like Kai has been placed to the point where she's almost unlikable on the show. They haven't shown really anything personal about her until this episode. The only thing that we know from Kai is, I'll take your man. That's the only thing we know from Kai. So this episode, they go to like a race car thing. It looks like they have some fun. And she says in her confessional, I feel like I could have him. I'm like, what else, Kai? What else? What else? Like, please show something that's, showing her in a positive light. Why are you here? So then she says to him, if Alexia asked you to stop going on dates with me, would you do it? And he says, no, because I feel like it's a part of the process. You're a damn lie. You there today, Kai. You are a damn lie, okay? You're not looking for nothing serious, which is why you're so settled on Kai, because she thick and she fine, okay? And if you were really serious about this process, you would have went on a few dates to see who you had deeper connections with. But because you're not serious about marrying Alexia, because you're not serious about finding anybody, you cool with just hanging out with Kai every week for a couple weeks. I'm just like, ugh, girl, come on. So anyway, Darian is actually telling Kai that he wants to work it out with Alexia. Not Alexia. Kai actually believes him, and she thinks that he sounds like he's in love with Alexia whenever he talks about her. And I'm just like, Kai, stop, okay? I really hope that you don't think that that's the symbol of love, because if you think about it this way, Kai, if that was your man on a date, walking into buildings, holding hands, ripping waist and everything else, ain't no way you would have said you felt like your man loved you. It's like you're okay being the friend of Darian because you feel like you're benefiting in some way, and you know that ultimately he may or may not leave Alexia. So you okay being the friend, or what they call a friends with benefits type thing. I don't know if they're messing around, but their relationship definitely looks adjacent to that. So let's go ahead and talk about the meetup with all the couples. Not the meetup, I'm sorry. Let's talk about Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole comes to Alexia and Darian's house, and Alexia starts giving examples to Dr. Nicole. She says she feels like anytime they get into a serious conversation, he, turns it into something else to avoid, or they get into an argument to avoid having that serious conversation. And she said, for example, he'll go to the studio, or he'll go to the condo, All-Star Weekend. He went to the condo that they were supposed to be staying at and said that he would be home around 11 p.m. 2 hours go by. The next day goes by. It's noon the next day. This dude still ain't hit her up. And my thing is like, I was so frustrated because the two of them kept saying, well, I don't believe he's cheating. I believe that it's just the picture he paints. Why is he painting that picture? And Alexia, girl, it's crazy how your mind can convince you to think a certain way when you really don't want to know the truth. I don't even think it's about painting the picture. I think it's you're doing something wrong. You know you're doing something wrong. And Alexia doesn't want to dig because she knows that if she does confront you on it, you're never going to admit to it. And then you're going to flip shit on her. So psychologically, she's trained herself to not even argue with Darian. Or she knows that there's certain things that she can argue with him about that she can actually win, and certain things she won't. You would never win an argument saying that Darian is cheating. So for that reason, you're going to say, I have an issue with the way he's painting the picture, because you feel like that's something that y'all can actually tackle. And I really hate that he's trained your mind to be this way over the past 14 years because you're really smart. And I can tell you know exactly what's going on. So Darian flips it on Alexia. This ain't gonna work. You up here lying to this lady. This ain't gonna work because you a liar. So now Alexia's a liar. Okay, bet. So we also find out during this conversation with Dr. Nicole that Darian has kids of his own. He has 3 kids, and 2 out of his 3 children were born during the 14 years that they had been on and off. Sis, what is you doing? Log off for me. Log off for me right now. Okay. So she's really getting frustrated, saying, you know, I want the ring. My friends are getting married. I want kids. And Darian saying, it's not that I don't want kids. I got kids with them, but I ain't got none with you. Sir, sounding like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. This is not the baby factory. Okay. It's not going to be a different assortment over here than over here and over here. It shouldn't be that way. So Alexia, let it go. I feel like, you know, you put in the 14 years, and you just trying to feel like you came out on top. This man has definitely warped your mind. So it's not even like if you got out of this relationship, you'd be ready for a new one. This man has trained your mind since you were 20 years old. You've adapted to that. You've allowed him to do that. So by the time you get into another relationship, you're going to have to do a lot of self-work. I have been seeing her with Ashley from season 1, and I really, really hope that she's not with him anymore. I really hope that you aren't with him anymore. I hope that you got a little bit of Ashley in you. Let's see what y'all talking about in the comments. Oh, Shell Will. Kai is a single mom who wants love. That's what we found out about Kai this episode. You're not going to find love with that man. Let that man go. Warren says, this is so sad. She deserves better. Absolutely. Harold, what's up? Literally telling her to her face that he's not going to wife her. The way I would have been spit shining. Harold, come on now. Honestly, I'm like, Alexia, let that go. So we get to the meetup with all the couples, y'all. Honestly, I don't even remember any of the arguments or disagreements between the other couples. It was really just the Alexia and Darian show. But I'll tell y'all what happened. Sean and LaRhonda, Sean ends up saying that he doesn't want to go on another date. And then Dr. Nicole's like, well, don't you know that you're hindering yourself from the process? So he's like, okay, I'll go in with the Lions Den. I'll go in because he knows that he likes Brittany. So he's like, damn, I'm really about to be tempting myself. LaRhonda, on the other hand, says she feels like she led most of the conversation the whole time. And for that reason, she doesn't want to go on another date with Sir James. And I'm just like, LaRhonda, this man is much more handsome than the one he got. I think he got a regular job, and he seemed to be a nice little dude. I mean, y'all got along, but it seems like LaRhonda's getting along with everybody. I'm like, you really gonna say you don't want to date this man because you started the conversation? Okay, that was just you playing the same game as Sean. I think Sean is just worse at playing this game than you are. Sean will definitely wear his heart on his sleeve and be so like unslick about it. No, she don't want another date. She don't like that. That's not her type. Meanwhile, LaRhonda, I feel like she wanted Sean to avoid his second date by just coming up with some dumb reason why she wanted to date Sir James. I'm like, whatever. Clarence is gone. Jessica didn't want to go on another date with Clarence. I told y'all I didn't see anything wrong with the man. I really think it's because he touched on her insecurity of Eric not wanting to marry her. And then the second thing I think is that he just doesn't fit the complete F-boy evolution for her. He got a nice body, you know, he got the F-boy haircut, but I don't know if he has the same bag that Eric has. On top of that, Eric has the more years than Clarence, obviously. So for that reason, I don't think that Jessica sees the payoff in leaving her relationship with the ex-NFL player for this bodybuilder named Clarence. Now, Alexia and Darian. Dr. Nicole asked Darian, what do you want to do? Do you want to go on a 4th date with Kai? Y'all, Darian might be triggering as fuck and he might be annoying as hell, but this man is funny. He ended up saying, well, I think I'm going to go, back into the Lions Den. And he's referencing Sean going into the Lions Den with Brittany. I'm like, how strategic of you to model your decision off of Sean, saying that you feel like you need to tempt yourself. But the thing is, you've been tempting yourself. So yeah, he decides to go on the 4th date with Kai. And Alexia says, do you want to know how I feel about that? She gets up and she leaves. And he ends up saying, what is your problem with this girl? Darian, she don't have a problem with the girls the way that you're handling yourself. Whose man is this? Okay, it has nothing to do with Kai. If you came on the show behaving yourself, acting like you had some common damn sense, then she wouldn't have an issue. But my thing is, take control of what you can control, which is yourself, Alexia. So I hope that you make the right decision to leave. Y'all, that is the end of Put a Ring on It. I hope y'all liked that discussion. Now we are going to get into our next show. Mods, please do me a favor and time mark that. We're going to get into Love After Lockup because that one was pretty easy. I really hope that y'all watch the show. And if you don't worry, I will catch y'all up. This show is entertaining, funny as hell. And right after Love After Lockup, we are getting into Love and Marriage. Okay. I feel like that's the one that everybody has been waiting for. How y'all feel about this thumbnail though? How do y'all feel about this thumbnail of Deontay? Y'all, Deontay is so funny. I follow him on Instagram and I commented on one of his pictures, and he was like out with some fans, and it was a Mexican girl or something like that, and I just did like the clap 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 button emoji because I'm like, okay, good for you, you moved on. But the thing is, you probably still gonna get finessed by anything shaped like a bag of trash with blonde hair and blue eyes. And Deontay commented back and was like, hey, now don't do me like that as much as I watch your reviews. Deontay, I really appreciate you watching my reviews. Deontay, come on here. We need to talk. Why are you the way that you are? We need to unpack some things. Come on the Ooh Ladies First panel. So I won't talk about all the couples. Yes, Sam J. She says it's my favorite ratchet show. It's definitely ratchet as hell. We won't talk about all the couples. We're only going to talk about the couples who really had storylines. They added a new couple last week. And I'm like, why did y'all add a new couple? Is it because somebody leaves? Is it because somebody go back to jail? Is it because somebody breaks up and y'all just needed somebody else to film? Because I feel like a bunch of these shows, they always have another couple on the back burner just in case something happens and they have their full cast. So let's go ahead and start with Rachel and Doug. Rachel and Doug wake up from a night after, they first knocking boots session. This was his first night back. And it seems like they enjoyed themselves. I will say, WeTV, I am disgusted. Erica Dixon voice. I am disgusted that y'all showed all that y'all showed of Rachel and Doug in the bed. This was like rated mature. It was too much. We saw you was wearing a dress. Your dress was hiked up to your damn hips. Y'all definitely was bumping, grinding, and stroking. I was like, this is inappropriate, and this has been going on for longer than 10 seconds. Next. So anyway, today is the day that Big Doug gets to meet his son, Little Dougie, for the first time in, I think he said 12 years, I think. 7 or 12 years. Either way, it's been a long ass time. He really hasn't been in the little boy's life. We find out that Big Doug had Little Dougie when he was 15, and he was only out for about 40 days for the majority. The longest was out in Little Dougie's life was only 40 days. So Little Dougie runs up to him, he gives him a hug, and he definitely says that this is one of the best days of my life. And part of me, I am so nervous about this little boy's heart, because this little boy, I feel like when a lot of fathers are not present, either one, you have a negative image of your father in your head. You know that he ain't shit. You know he wasn't there, especially when you see one parent have to struggle. In Little Dougie's case, his mom has always been on drugs. So because his mom is on drugs and he's bounced from house to house and his dad just can't be with him due to circumstance, I feel like he has always seen his dad in this positive light. He sees his dad as like an imaginary figure, and he was just imagining and waiting for the day for his dad to get out. So the reason why I'm so nervous is because I really don't want older Doug to go back to jail and then little Dougie have his heart broken all over again, because literally at this point in time, yes, Rachel has been his stability, but he sees Big Doug as the parent that can come and rescue him from the situations that he's been in. So I'm very nervous for little Dougie, and I really hope that he takes care of his heart. I'm like, come on, little boy, please. So as soon as he gets there, he's immediately, laying down rules and stuff like that, because he feels like Rachel is a little bit soft on him, which is fair because Rachel isn't really his parent. Y'all only been married for a year, so she's really only been in his life for a year, maybe. That's being that she met him when y'all first got together. And one of the things I took away from that is rules without relationships equal rebellion. I've had conversations with many of my friends and people whose parents were not really in their lives. And whenever the parent comes back in and they try to lay ground rules, it's like, how do you think we're ever going to have a relationship if you're never in the picture? And as soon as your ass get here, your trifling ass get here, and you trifling, you try to make up for all the trifling ass shit, all the MIA, missing person that you have been, and try to cover it up with rules because you feel like you're teaching your child to be a better person. But at the same time, it's like, nah, you got to figure out what you missed before you start laying rules. So yeah, they have a conversation with Rachel's mom. Rachel's mom is really nice. She says that she feels like Big Doug just needs to be a little bit more humble. All this fool keep talking about is prison stuff. So yeah, they go to dinner. The little boy's asking him questions, things that he's always wanted to know. And it's just crazy how much he really admires his dad. And I really hope that, he takes care of him. Move on, next couple. So this is the next couple, y'all. For what? For what? The next couple is Anissa and Jeff. So Anissa is 51 years old. Her boyfriend that's in prison is 40 years old. He looking every bit of 50 damn 7. He missing teeth, so many drugs. He's gotten out of prison twice already, and both times that he was supposed to meet her, he flaked on her. She spent over $50,000 on this man while he was in prison, and this time she thought that it would be different for him to get out of prison, that he was actually going to come live with her. So they go to the bus station. She ends up taking, I believe, like her nephew or her cousin Kyle, and they wait at the bus station for 2 hours. The bus ends up pulling away, and I'm like, damn, did he leave? But no, he actually showed up. He fell asleep on the bus. They kissing and all this stuff. It's something about me seeing people with missing teeth kiss and all that stuff. I'd be like, I can't. But they need love too, don't they? Okay, missing teeth people need love too. So yeah, she finally gets the man. After 2 failed attempts of him, really flaking on your ass and finessing on you, like you said, he decides to come home. So within 45 minutes, they have to drive him to the halfway house. On the way to the halfway house, Anissa's cousin Kyle is in the back. Might be her nephew. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but her family member is in the back, and he's really making overprotective comments towards Jeff. Like, I would do anything for her. I hope you have the right intentions, which are all valid because you've really finessed this woman 2 times before. You've admitted to it. Anissa's admitted to it. And somehow y'all think that y'all on the right foot, because at any moment in time, you could just collect more money from her in person and then take your ass on the road. So I definitely understand that concern. Jeff is really frustrated with Kyle. And it seems like in the previews for future episodes that they're actually going to get into a physical altercation. So they kiss. She drops him off at the halfway house. And good for Anissa. You didn't get played yet, okay? And the thing is, sometimes I'm like, damn, I kind of feel bad for them. But when you come on this show and you didn't pay this man over $50,000 and he's flaked on your ass not once, not twice, but it could have been a 3rd time. He's flaked on your ass twice. I'm like, girl, go find another prisoner if that's what you want to do. So let's get into our good friend Deontay. He definitely is one of the favorites of this show just because he's hilarious, but so serious at the same time. Like, the level of logic, Deontay. I want to find out why you are the way you are. I want to find out what's up with this fetish with white women. Don't care what they look like. You don't care as long as they have blonde hair, blue eyes. What's going on, Deontay? So, let me find my notes. Okay. Deontay and Nicole. They walk into a candlelit house. He has more gifts for her, 3 pairs of Jordans, 2 Michael Kors watches, anything that, you can find at Dillard's and Champs and the mall and stuff like that. I feel like all the gifts he gets her are those sent gifts that you be seeing on Facebook. When people be sharing shit on Facebook, it'd be like, oh my God, look at what my baby did for me for Valentine's Day. And they just pull the money out of the box and, oh my gosh, so romantic. Oh my gosh, Michael Kors watch. And it's like really just the viral sent shit that we be seeing. That's what he did. And another thing, y'all, let me know if I'm just very anxious about shit or if y'all are on the same page. But when I saw all them candles on the bed, I was like, Deontay, I hope that those are LED candles, because ain't no way you have actual fire lit on all that fabric. That would be the end of your bed, your home, and everything else. Please don't do that again. Definitely not for Nicole, because she's not worth it. So Nicole is at the house and she's looking like she's trying to find a way out. She's like, oh shit, this nigga gonna try to get me to bust it wide open, and she ain't trying to do that. She's just trying to do everything that she's been doing, which is talk it up real cute, flip her little blonde hair, wink a little, and then get the bag. So she definitely doesn't want to have sex with this man. So he ends up getting her lingerie. She puts on the lingerie and she tells us that she used to dance for people. I don't know if she meant like she used to strip, but just not at a strip club. But yeah, that's what she used to do. She used to make a little bit of money on the side, dancing with people, dancing for their girlfriends, and she really likes to do it. So she put on the lingerie. She goes to the kitchen and she puts on a little show for Deontay. Deontay takes off his polo, takes off his shirt, and then reveals his little NWA tattoo. And he's saying to Nicole, come here, let me touch it. She's like, nah, you can look, but you can't touch. And in the confessional, y'all, I cringed. This man has been effing a sex torso for 18 months, and you can see the distress in his eyes, and I was disgusted. I feel like her dancing was just enough for him to get what he needed. I was disgusted. I was like, why am I here? I shouldn't see this. So she danced on him for a little bit. And the other thing I was going to say is, Nicole, maybe you should start dancing. Okay, maybe you should. That would be an honest career out of prison. I wouldn't even be mad at it. So anyway, he was killing me talking about dance for me, baby. She danced for a little bit, then she kisses him, and then she walks into the room. She definitely is luring him in, finessing him. This man falls on his knees, puts his arm up on the door, looking like a little snotty ass, he looked like the snotty the snotty nose ass boy from Martin, y'all. And that's no shade to Deontay, but him on his knees with his hands up against the door really made me think about a little boy from Martin. Yeah, Deontay, stand up. This girl ain't worth it. And I know y'all aren't together based off of, what all the gossip things have been saying. I don't know what it is about WeTV, but they need to tighten it up. WeTV, I feel like there's spoilers everywhere. I don't know if it's the cast of this show, but there's spoilers everywhere about every single person on this show. And Deontay has been going live on Instagram fairly often in the receipts that he likes to pull and the things that he likes to say about Nicole, that they aren't together. Anyway, after this nasty sex scene, we move forward. Yes, Julia, thank you. I'm talking about Roscoe. That's who I'm talking about. So we move forward to the hair salon. Deontay takes before I get there, y'all. After Nicole walks into the room, her excuse for not giving Deontay sex is that she doesn't want to have sex with him until he pays for her some new boobs. I hope you didn't do it, Deontay. I hope you didn't do it. Next day, y'all, they're in the car. He's picking up Nicole from her mom's house so he can take her to get her hair done. And he's explaining to her that he feels fairly disrespected because you know how you did me last night. And she basically just saying like, I really don't even care. It is what it is. While he's still taking her and still paying for her to do stuff. He's like, I'll just keep it in the back of my mind. No, Deontay, keep it in the front of your mind. Tracy Chappell says, Deontay is too nice. I was on his live. He made it clear that he dates every race. He likes anyone that likes him. It's sad how he clings to anyone that likes him. Cool. That is sad, and I think he knows that he's too nice. I hope he learns from this. That's what I'm saying. Come talk to us, Deontay. Come talk to us, because there's definitely flaw here. There's definitely a lack of logic when it comes to this, and it's a reason why you are the way you are. I'm not a psychologist, but I would love to talk about it, and I feel like it's making Nicole look like a bad person, but at the same time, people get so frustrated with you because they want you to do better. Similar to how Paige was on Married at First Sight. Nobody coming for your ass. Everybody's just really frustrated because they want you to get out of the situation. Y'all know when you watching a scary movie and you be like, leave the house. Why would your dumb ass go check what the sound was? Deontay, why are you checking what the sound is? Leave. So yeah. Anyway, they're at the salon, and when they're in the salon, her friend Audrey shows up. Audrey just looks like a cute little old soccer mom to the naked eye, but as soon as you see a picture of her that pops on the screen, she has this black eye, and you find out that she used to be her ex-prison cellmate. So, not Alexia, I'm mixing up shows. Nicole gets her hair done. Her hair looks much better in my opinion. I like the sew-in. I'm not mad at it. Don't like the tan. Whatever. I see a lot of country ass girls with them tan. I guess they like it. If you like it, I love it. Anyway, Audrey is telling her, we need to go hang out. And Nicole is saying, who are we going to hang out with? All we know is prisoners. And then we get into a conversation finding out that Nicole has not only been talking to her ex-boyfriend, Zach, but she had a girlfriend in prison. They were together for a year or two. And the girlfriend's name is Tia. She cheated on her. They broke up. Tia has been out for 4 months. So now they want to meet on the outside world. They were in love with each other. And she doesn't want to tell Deontay about Tia. She goes to the back room. She sends Tia a text, or she calls her and she says, hey baby, what's up with you? I was like, my goodness. So if y'all haven't looked for spoilers on Nicole, they're everywhere. If you're interested to see them, go Google them. Next, y'all, we're gonna get to the final couple of this show. The final couple of this show is Stan and Lisa. Stan, man. I really like Stan, but he definitely showed his old ass. And my thing is, Stan wasn't necessarily wrong. His delivery was wrong. And we definitely get to see what his flaw was. And his flaw is that he drinks too much. And also he has the flaw that he has all the money. So he wants Lisa to be a puppet. Lisa, you know what the F you signed up for. You know the assignment. And I guess you keep trying to see how far you can take Stan. So I feel like Stan is no fool. He's actually not a fool at all. I think that, 1 second. I'm trying to figure out what I missed in the comments, y'all. I guess nothing. So anyway, Stan isn't a fool. Stan just knows that he's the one with the money. So just like they said in episode 3, it was something like sugar daddy or boyfriend, and he said both. So they finally show up to the house after picking up Lisa from prison. She has the wig on. She put on her little eyeliner. She has a hat on. And Lisa's having issues with her son. At this point in time, I thought her son was like 10 or 11 years old. He's on the phone supposedly crying to her that he can't see her, but Stan can see her. So Stan really isn't saying much about it. And Lisa's frustrated because she's waiting on him to offer her something. And he hasn't done it yet. So he takes her to the house. He shows her her own room. And she's being very distant. So they have a conversation on the patio right here. He tries to kiss her on the cheek, and she's really just not having it at all. And basically, my thing is, go be with your son. But Lisa's thing is, I'm trying to move my grown ass son into Stan's house so we can take over his shit. And that's what she thought she was going to do. And Stan basically said, I'm not comfortable moving your family in here if I don't know them. And Lisa just says, you know, I know you had expectations for tonight, but I have to go do the right thing. And she gets upset because she says, well, you haven't even offered my son to come over here. And the thing is, Lisa, if you were genuinely concerned about your son, knowing that you haven't seen this man in 18 months, knowing that you had an agreement with this man to come and be at his house, you should have took your trifling ass to your son. He's grown. We find out from Stan that he's 22 years old. Crying on the phone to you? You should have went and been with him. You were locked up for 10 months, 18 months. Yeah, long ass time. But I can't imagine your son crying on the phone knowing that you went to go stay with this damn sugar daddy. So she's in the house arguing with Stan, and Stan's drunk ass. I'm not even mad at Stan. Y'all know what they say, drunk man, sober thoughts. He says, well, Lisa says to him, you wouldn't be doing this if these were your children. And Stan says, my children wouldn't do that. I raised my children right. You didn't. Mr. Krabs, man, when he said that shit, I was like, Stan, man, no, you didn't. I'm not even mad at it. But one thing is, Stan knows what he and Lisa's arrangement is. The thing is, he's willing to give so much, but he's not about to get finessed in the process. And that's why I'm not mad at you, Stan. And I actually really like your friend, what's the old dude's name to start with a D? I love him too. He thinks that Stan isn't being smart, but he definitely knows. So Stan, you were right. You probably just hurt Lisa's feelings. But one thing's for sure, she gonna be back because you got the money. So that's all we got for Love After Lockup. We will move on to Love and Marriage Huntsville as soon as y'all do me a favor and like the video. Mods, where are we at? Where are we at? We have 106 people in the chat. Shout out to y'all if y'all missed the beginning of the video. Today is the first installment of Brunch with Necey, where I will recap all of our weekend shows over mimosas. So I hope that y'all are enjoying this video. Be sure to like the video up, and then we can move on to Love and Marriage Huntsville. Y'all killing me. Y'all killing me. I'm reading this comment from One Love Shar. She says, Stan is a frugal sugar daddy. Yeah, how y'all think he got all that money? His house didn't even look like he had $2 million to his name. Very nice house, but the man is not a fool. We got 65 likes. Y'all be sure to like the video up so we can move on to Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is the last of all of them. Clink, clink. Okay, Fedora. Clink, clink. Like the video. All right. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I told y'all I got stuff to do. I gotta go to brunch. But I really appreciate y'all for joining me for this live. Let's go ahead and get into Love and Marriage Huntsville. So I think this was a really good premiere episode. I definitely watched the last season. I didn't review it. I just needed to watch because I was still pretty new to the show. But I feel like I have somewhat of a grip for what's been going on. So let me go ahead and pull up my notes. All right, y'all. This is Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 3, Episode 1. So the episode starts out and we see Marcel and Maurice, and they're having a conversation on the land of Scott Manor. It's nothing but mud. They really haven't been able to make any progress due to the rain. But while they're there, they start having conversations about Kimmy and Tisha. Kimmy still is not interested in living at Scott Manor. Now, y'all, one thing, if you're here for Love and Marriage Huntsville, I actually forgot to upload the thumbnail, but tonight on Jay Lee's Corners YouTube, Ooh Ladies First Panel will be interviewing Kimmy from Love and Marriage Huntsville tonight at 6-7 Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So go ahead and meet me over there this evening so we can interview Kimmy. If y'all have questions for Kimmy, go ahead, send them in the DMs, put them in the chat here, and we'll be sure to try to answer your question. So yeah, anyway, they start talking about Tisha and Kimmy and Maurice. Their names are confusing. They're just like me and my siblings. All our names sound the same. But Maurice is saying to Marcel, well, if you're not cool with somebody, obviously you're not going to want to live next to them. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's understandable. Marcel feels like Tisha, she has a flaw when it comes to getting into arguments with people. We know that. But the thing is, are y'all ever going to correct her grown ass on that? She definitely, it's weird because I feel like she has the only child syndrome. But she definitely has a different type of syndrome. It's whenever you're like the only girl and you get whatever you want. Tracy says that Tisha and Martell are the same damn person. They both work my nerves. They really do. It's a lot of gaslighting. And the thing is, the thing that I hate to see with Tisha and Martell is that they actually believe what they're saying. It'd be different if they were like bullshitting and they were smart enough to know that they were trying to get over, but they actually believe what they're saying, which is why I love Kimmy, because she likes to not even argue, but she likes to make you look dumb with logic. Like, come on, there's the math ain't mathing. Make it make sense, because you're not. So anyway, they start discussing Martell on Strawberry Letter, where he apologized to Melody. Maurice feels like it was sincere. And his thing is, he appreciated the apology, but he feels like Martell goes back and forth between moments of being nice and then moments of being, just you don't want to accept your blame and things. So since y'all are at the end of this marriage, since y'all are finally divorced, he feels that you need to bow out gracefully. Perfectly said. Martell will not bow out gracefully, because that includes him taking responsibility for the shit that he did in that marriage, which he will not. So since he will never do that, there's no way for him to bow out gracefully. And at this point in time, we've been watching all this shit happen on TV for over a year. If you would have apologized today or even a couple months ago, nobody would even care. Like, y'all, I believe right after the Strawberry Letter, Melody had an interview on Funky Dineva channel. And in the middle of the damn interview, Martell was calling Funky and calling Melody on the phone, trying to interrupt her from telling her damn truth. Somebody go get that man. Let's move on to the next scene. So the next scene, y'all, we see Melody and Destiny. At the beginning, when Melody was making the 2 wine glasses, I was like, oh no, don't tell me that you were already dating on the show. But no, she's absolutely not dating. She said that she definitely needs some time just to be by herself, to learn herself a little bit more. So her and Destiny are toasting to new normals. Destiny also lets Melody know that her and Kimmy are cool now and that they went to brunch. While they were also at brunch, Kimmy was asking her about LaRhonda. Where is LB? So this leads Destiny into telling Melody, why does all their names sound the same? It's a struggle. She says to her, well, with that being said, nobody knows my tea. So my tea is that I'm officially divorced. I wasn't shocked at all. The only thing I was shocked about was that she didn't say I'm in the process of getting divorced. She just said I'm divorced. Now, the first time I watched the episode, I was like, oh, Melody, a real one for trying to act like she didn't know. But the second time I watched it, I was like, wow, Melody honestly did not know. And for me, that wouldn't have sat well with me. I feel like Destiny's position on this show has definitely been being a bone carrier or having conversations between Martell and Melody. So obviously, since they don't really film together anymore, I feel like Destiny has been the only connect with them bouncing back and forth. So while all that stuff was going on with Melody and Martell, you had stuff going on in your own life and you were so focused on Melody for the sake of being there for her. I feel like you were just trying to save face and hide from people talking about your stuff. So while you say that you needed to be there for Melody, let's be real. There was definitely a little bit of selfishness with that. You didn't want your shit to be all over TV, which I'm not mad at you. But I definitely would have felt some type of way if I was Melody, because if we're friends, why are you working so hard to carry my storyline on this show when you have a storyline of your own? Like, let's get into that. So another thing I want to get into, this is outside of the show. LB actually made an Instagram post. His Instagram post says, after much thought and prayer, I made the decision to file for divorce from my ex-wife. I personally asked for privacy as we live our separate lives and navigate through this journey called life. I look forward to respectfully co-parenting and being the best father to our awesome and loving son. Blessing to you all and thank you. I feel like their divorce did not end well. I feel like the classy thing to do whenever people divorce is they typically just say, we decided to part our separate ways. It's like, because he knew that Destiny was going to be revealing this tea on the show, he wanted to one-up her by not allowing her to be the person to spread the news. He wanted everybody to know, nah, I filed. And I feel like that's petty as hell. And I'm looking at you kind of sideways. I am looking at Destiny kind of sideways too. All right, so we'll move on from that. Next, y'all, we see Kimmy and Marceau. Kimmy pulls up on Marceau because she's been meal prepping for him. I forgot that she was a caterer. I did not know old girl could cook like that. So I definitely hope she shares a salmon recipe with us. That's like one of the easiest things to cook, and it's healthy too. So share a recipe with me for tonight, Kimmy. So anyway, Marcel ends up asking Kimmy to help plan a party for Tisha. And Kimmy's like, for what? Why would you ask me to help plan? Like, she feels like with Tisha, are we friends or are we not? You need to ask Wanda to help plan the party. I don't blame you at all. I feel like from what I have seen, I cannot name anything wrong that Kimmy has done on this show. I feel like Kimmy is absolutely a reality TV unicorn. Typically, people like this don't last long on shows because they want people with a wow factor. They want people who try to defy logic and they just entertain. Kimmy is so logical. I've never seen her really move crazy on this show. Now, y'all, I have skipped through a couple episodes in the older season. So y'all tell me if I'm wrong. But for the most part, I feel like she's my girl on this show. So ultimately, she ends up saying, you know, I'm willing to help cook. I'll cook the sides. But as far as planning a party, we ain't that cool. No, we're not doing that. On the other side of Huntsville, Tisha is talking to her cousin. Ooh, cousin. Mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your business. It's none of my business. It's none of your business, cousin. They're talking. And Tisha basically just says to her cousin, you know, I'm over it. I'm ready to move on. One thing I think is really funny about Tisha is you're only ready to move on when you know that you're in a fight that you can't win. You know that Kimmy is not about to go for that bullshit. So yeah, that's exactly what you do. So now all of a sudden she's ready to move on. Amelia French says this is in reference to Destiny. She says maybe she didn't want it revealed that she was going through a divorce, so she kept it to herself. Also, she seems to be a private person. That's perfectly fine. However, if I was your friend on the show and we're supposed to be going through things together, why would you not tell me? And I'm not even saying that Destiny had to say anything on the show. She could have kept that private. That's not our business. But my thing is, why would I share my friend's tea or talk about my friend's struggle in her relationship, but not directly talk to my friend to let her know that I'm going through the same thing? That was weird to me. So anyway, yeah, Tisha says that she's ready to move on from it. You're only ready to move on because you know this is a fight that you can't win. Now we get to Destiny and Martell. Martell has made an appearance, you guys. I was hoping that it would at least be like episode 2 or 3 before Martell got on my nerves. But no, Martell came on here saying dumb shit. Let men be men. Okay. But I also have a little bit for Destiny too. So they are in Destiny's beauty supply store. Shout out to Black Owned Business. Speaking of Black Owned Business, y'all, this is not a sponsor, but I've been using this new like all natural skincare line called Mahina Skincare. And I love it. Y'all should look it up. She ships everywhere. All the products are natural. I don't even use store-bought lotion like at all. So go ahead and look up Mahina Skincare. It's Mahina. Mahina Skincare. Let's get into this review. So Martell pulls up on Destiny at her beauty supply store. And he's just saying, how are your kids doing? They're making really small talk. Did y'all notice how when Destiny said, how are your kids? She wanted him to talk about the new kid as well. She didn't just say like, how are the kids? She said, your kids, meaning all of them. So yeah, they immediately jump into Martell's Instagram post, which I have right beneath this picture. It was their youngest child. I believe her name is Melania. It was her first day of school. And if y'all see this highlighted portion right here, it says, Daddy saw each one off the same way. So 4 down, 1 to go. We had a big discussion about this when this first came out. This was months ago. Ooh, Tracy, I was thinking the same thing. I'm about to talk about that, Tracy. So in that post, he announced that he didn't only have the 4 kids with Melanie, but he has another kid that is younger than Melania. And that's the kid that everybody knows that he has had with his mistress. Destiny felt like it was too soon for him to announce that he had the child. Martell's argument is, well, I'm the dad. I'm going to be daddy to that kid too, as you should. Destiny feels like there's a lack of empathy. And I don't think that that's the argument that you should have been arguing, Destiny. Yes, you should claim your child, but my thing is, why use the picture of you and Melody's child to announce that you have another child? It was weird to me because it made it seem like Melody may have been, you know, on board with him announcing it in that picture. Melody's kid ain't got nothing to do with what you do outside of your marriage or with your ex-wife. I think you should have waited. If you wanted to announce that you had a fifth child, you should have posted a picture of you and that fifth child. But Martell, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that you should not claim that child. A kid is a kid, okay? It don't matter how the kid got here, you should definitely claim the child. But don't try to do it in a slick way that you think makes you look good. If you really wanted to honor that child and be dad and super dad, you should have posted an MF picture of you and that child. So whatever. That's why I was like, Destiny, what do you mean lack of empathy? He's gonna claim that child. Even if he didn't post a picture of him and Melanie, or not Melanie, Melania, I feel like there would have been an issue with him even admitting that he had another child because Melody was still hurt. But that's not for you to discuss, Destiny. And that's what I was talking about in the earlier portion of the video. You have a storyline yourself, you're a character on the show, and I'm gonna need you to expand outside of just being, you know, the person that Melody and Martell talk to. You have your own tea. So let's move on from that. The other thing, Martell shows up with some products and he's trying to get Destiny to sell it in his store. Initially, y'all, just like Tracy said in the comments, initially, I thought that he was trying to sell his baby mama's products in her store without telling her that it was the baby mama's products, but that wasn't the case. It seems like he was trying to sell products in the store, but not tie his name to it. He said to her, well, I may have 20% ownership in the company, but just not yet. And Destiny's saying, well, why are you, it's something sketchy going on. What's going on? So in her confessional, she ends up saying that probably means, yeah, that's exactly what it is, Shellwell. Martell did it to be spiteful. That's the thing. Melody ain't got nothing to do with you and this fifth child. That's you and your fifth child and your baby mama. Anyway, Destiny's wondering, why would you bring product to me and try to sell product that you are not necessarily profiting off of? There's something sketchy going on. And in her confessional, she ends up saying that probably means that Melody was the brains behind this company and Martell was just the brawn, meaning he probably was just the person to put it in motion. With that being said, if Martell's name was attached to this company, and Melody knows that he was pursuing sales with this company, she would be entitled to some of the dollars that he's getting. So for that reason, Destiny doesn't even want to be involved. I don't blame you one bit, because if this was your company, why not wait until you sign the contract? You don't want your name tied to it, because once Melody finds out about this ish, that's going to be your ass. So y'all pay attention to how he's moving when it comes to business versus how Melody's moving when it comes to business. And that brings us to this next scene with Melody and Chris. So Chris stopped by Melody's office, Melody Hope Properties. And, you know, I really like how they got her looking like super mom. She's in the meeting, she's holding the baby, she's doing this, she's doing that. And I really think that Melody is a really good example of women who can leave and still be successful in their marriages. Martell always makes it a point. Y'all, Tisha rubbing off on me. Anyway, Martell always makes it a point to say that Melody was just a teacher before she got with him. But the thing is, I don't care how you got it. She helped you build your empire, and she can continue to have her own empire after you. So Chris stops by basically just to ask Melody, you know, I know y'all sold the 47 acres to investors, but I was wondering if you wanted to come and build a couple custom homes on the 47 acres. While Melody is a business-minded person, she immediately starts asking the numbers. What's the price of the homes? She's interested. However, she knows that Martell would have his feelings involved, because y'all know, like, Chris really wasn't even comfortable working with Martell when it came to the 47 acres because of all the scandals that he had going on. So for that reason, Melody is interested in working with Chris in the 47 acres team, but she just don't want no drama with Martell. So think about how Martell was moving with his product, trying to be sneaky, opposed to how Melody was moving. And it's like, Martell, You continue to make yourself look so bad on this show. It's horrible. I hate it for you, and I don't. That's a lie. I don't hate it for you. It is what it is. You reap what you sow. But you can move on from this, and you choose not to. You choose to be the person that you always are, and you know that type of shit can't be hidden. So it is what it is. Congratulations to you, Melody, for being a bigger person and wanting to move on. Now, y'all, let's go ahead and get to the graduation party. Melody showed up. Tisha's family showed up. It looked like it was a pretty small, intimate gathering. And Tisha's whole family is speaking for her. When I saw Tisha's little brother, I was like, oh, if he only just like Wanda. He was up there talking to Kimmy, and so was the cousin in the top left. And they're basically saying, how's your relationship with Tisha? And I'm like, y'all, why is that your business? Why are you speaking for her? And you know, the cousin, this woman up top, says, you know, I just feel like you could have had her back a little bit better. And Kimmy, she automatically turns on her logical brain and says, oh, really? What was that? What was that? When did you feel that way? And suddenly her cousin, oh, now it's funny. Now you want to get small and laugh it off. Nah, keep that same energy. You wanted to come and try to check me about my relationship with my sister-in-law, but now that I'm asking you to provide logic and provide receipts, now it's, I'm gonna mind my business. Nah, let's talk about it. So anyway, okay, Ronald, here we go. I just saw Scorpio. Ronald says Melody is a Scorpio. We're business people who's always about a check. That's what I feel the underlying issue was with her and old boy, because he isn't man enough to admit that Melody is good with or without him. Ronald, agreed, 110%. I'm a Scorpio as well, 11-11. So anyway, yeah, the cousin. Keep that same energy. The cousin ends up saying, well, at the reunion, I feel like you should have had her back. And Kimmy says, what do you mean by have her back? Do you think we talked about Melody or do we not? Kimmy said, yes, they talked about Melody. Tisha said, no, they did not. And the cousin ends up saying, well, yes, I think y'all did discuss Melody. Okay, so what you're saying is she should have lied. Why are you talking to Kimmy about her lying or her should have been lying rather than talking to your girl, telling her that you should have been up there telling the truth? And this is what Kimmy's talking about whenever she says so many people baby her. And it's kind of frustrating because you see that not only Tisha follows that logic, but plenty of people in her family follow the same illogical motions to make her feel comfortable. You're grown. You're grown. Why are we making you feel comfortable? So yes, shout out to you, Kimmy. Love the way you handled it. Her cousin ends up commending Kimmy for being honest, but she felt like she should have had her back, and suddenly she's gonna mind her business. Okay, bet. So y'all, Tisha and Kimmy finally meet up. Tisha basically just says to Kimmy, you know, we're different. It is what it is. I value family. You think Kimmy doesn't value family? It's just you expect people to bend over backwards for your grown ass and lie and not tell you when you're wrong. Kimmy handled it with little emotion. She definitely told her, I care about you, but we weren't in a good place. Tisha says, well, you didn't show me with your actions that you cared. And she goes back talking about love languages and what her mom used to do. I'm just like, I'm tired. Tisha, I'm tired. Somebody needs to check you on this. So anyway, Kimmy ultimately ends up saying that part of me believes that you want me to sorry, y'all. She said that part of me believes that you want me to be different for you. And Tisha absolutely agrees. And that's exactly what's wrong with it. That's what's wrong with it. They end the conversation. Tisha saying, you know what? I'm just ready to move on from it. I'm sure you're ready to move on. Ronald, you were on it. This was what I was thinking. Ronald said, I feel like by Tisha being the cousin that made it, her family accommodates her feelings to benefit off of her. Facts. We know that. We know that. Tashara Edlow, Tisha has the maturity of a 5-year-old. Facts. Y'all, that was really the episode. Let me go see what y'all talking about in the comments. DSJ says Martell looked a mess. It sounds shady. This is in reference to the product. It sounded shady AF. Amina says that she doesn't see anything wrong with him saying 4 down, 1 to go. They are his kids. That's fine. But why make that your child probate? For a lack of better words, why make that the coming out for you admitting that you have a child? Claim that child in whole, okay? Claim that child in whole, meaning Melody, the kids you already have, don't even need to be anywhere in adjacent to you acknowledging that you have that child. And if y'all want to take it a step further, I definitely want him to claim his kids. You should have posted a picture of you and that child. You didn't even have to show the kid's face. But what you should have done, you should have claimed that child 110% and not try to play it up and make it look cute. Like, oh yeah, this is my other kid. Nah, do it all the way. I didn't like that. Yes, Martell did it to be spiteful. Harold says it's to save face. Just like everything else he does, you don't get a gold star for that, Martell. So it seems like Martell has gotten on a lot of y'all's nerves as well. Sam J just said Martell is trash. Oh gosh. Tracy says Kimmy has a cookbook. I did not know that. But y'all, be sure to like the video up. I hope y'all enjoyed this first installment of Brunch with Necey. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. I love to live tweet the shows, so you know, y'all can get like a little preview of what I'm talking about before I actually go live, since we'll be doing these Sunday reviews. So y'all let me know in the comments if y'all really enjoyed this format where we talk about all 3 shows at once. And to my mods, thank y'all for moderating the conversation. Be sure to leave timestamps in the comment section and I will be sure to pin it. And yeah, I hope y'all have a really good Sunday. Have time with y'all's family, relax before we get back into the busy week. I will see y'all tonight on Jay Lee's Corner channel for the interview with Kimmy. And with that being